Good evening, race fans, and welcome to yet another week of exciting Sunday night Skippy racing action. We're coming to you live from virtual Belgium. Just like last week, only this time we're up the road at Spa, and it's going to be a great night for racing. We currently have over 45 drivers practicing and getting ready for tonight's event. We are coming to you over the airwaves of the CavOK Racing Network on both YouTube and Twitch. Just search for CavOK, that's C-A-V-O-K Racing on either platform, and you can find us there. We'll be live and also video on demand following the race. You can watch it at your pleasure throughout the week. Nice day here in Belgium, and
Sorry, Max, go ahead.
Let's check in with our in-race reporter, Ian Worrell. How are you doing tonight, Ian?
Hey, I am doing well, sir. You are not very loud in my hairs.
Uh-oh. I will try to talk louder.
Hang on, let me see if there's something I can do to fix that problem, because I'm not sure where your sound is coming from at the moment. Give me 1 second.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I'll bring up the track map in preparation for the track tour that you were about to give.
Yes, I will definitely do that. Just give me 1 second. I just got to jump out of the sim and into Discord and try and get my sound fixed. So hold on one tick. Okay?
Well, I will keep talking while you do that, and we will bring up the standings then, actually. And once again, I've been meaning to split this up into two columns, and it just has not happened yet.
I hate to jump in right in the middle of your discussion, but do you want to move this over into the interview booth?
Are we not in the interview booth? We are not in the interview booth. Let's do that. All right, and we're in the interview booth. So I've been meaning to split this into two columns. Apologies to those who are watching on their phones, especially if you don't have one of those large-sized screens. But as you can see there at the top, Chris Herrera currently holds a 39-point lead over Pete Mulbroughton, and Edwin Virino only 1 point behind Pete. So that top three there still well in play. Although Chris does have, I guess, quite a commanding lead at the moment. Kind of his championship to lose moving forward. A little bit of double-digit gaps there through P6 with Mike Bowers. However, when you look after that, what a race we have for that 6th position, all the way down to Aaron Law there in 10th spot. And then after that, once again, mere points separating all of these positions all the way down through P25. So there's going to be a lot of good battles. We may bring this up throughout the race, just to remind everybody there's a lot of drivers out there, a lot of points to be had. So not always, I know, easy, but I'll give you one last second to check out the driver that you're cheering for tonight, figure out where they are, see who's around them. And how are we doing, Ian?
Oh, that is so much better. I think
better?
I fixed it, so I can actually hear you guys. I'm just going to go back into the sim and turn off the other people that I'm listening to, because they're very loud in my head, and see if that works. Give me 1 second here. And I do apologize to everybody out there.
No worries.
Disable while driving.
As you do that,
Okay.
I'm focused on you now, so you can start rolling whenever you feel is necessary.
Cool beans. Well, guys and people and folks and families and all the rest of those people who are out there, welcome back to Spa. This is an amazing track, very historic. I love talking about it. It's got some incredible corners. I'm actually in the pits, so I'm coming out of the pits on the inside of the first turn, which is called La Source, and you can see how much of a corner that is. It's a first gear, slow it all the way down, and try and get around without crashing corner, and then you come floating down here in 5th gear, flat out through what they call La Source. Oh, that's La Source, sorry. Through La Rouge, and then up through Radion, and then this is the Camel Straight, that we're on now. And you'll see a lot of drafting coming up here. So there'll be a lot of folks either trying to pop out of the draft or holding into the draft for this set of chicane up here, where they hard braking zone down into third, and then you sort of throttle your way through this, but it's pretty much full throttle all the way through here. You're just kind of holding the car, get it back up into fourth before you drop all the way down into second at your next heavy braking zone for this sort of big horseshoe of a corner with these little banks on both sides, one there and one here, which helps get you around into No Name Corner. No Name Corner was the first corner in the old track where the folks who were doing the commentating could see the cars coming around. And then we come down into Pouchon, and this is a difficult, weird corner, and I'm going to crash. Oh, let's see if I can try not to. Ah! Well, lots of spinning there. Oops. As I said, not an easy corner. Whoops. Nearly got taken out there. When you do have warm tires, I'm driving actually just coming out of the pit, so my tires are a bit cold. Then you come to the next set of little chicane, and again you throttle steer through this, no braking used before you come up to a little right-hander here, which you really want to get right, because once you finish this corner, basically you are completely flat out until you get to bus stop. And again, you'll see quite a bit of drafting going on this piece here. This is all just, foot to the floor, get up as fast as you can. The poor little Skippies get up to about 120 miles an hour. If you're in a draft, you can get up to about 124, 125. All of this is flat out on the right here, and then you just duck into this corner. Again, this is flat out until you come to the last really heavy braking zone for the bus stop, which is the last chicane on the track. And you'll see again some very brave. Woo! Shouldn't have dropped into first gear there. But yeah, some very brave folks trying to overtake at that point. And then you cross the start-finish line. So yeah, I'm going to be all over the places, obviously from that little run there. But La Source is the first corner. It's a lot of fun, this one, because if you do get it right, like that, you're now flat out from here. As you can see on the right there is where the pit comes out, and then you're just floating down. And I think Michael Schumacher said this corner here is one of the most exciting and your favorite corners on the track. I mean, you can see how steep it is on the uphill side as the cars go flying up there. And you really do lose a lot of traction as soon as you come over the crest there. You are doing somewhere between, I guess, depending on your tires and the stage of the race, somewhere between 95 and 110, 120 miles an hour when you hit the top of that crest there. So yeah, so it's the car gets light, the steering doesn't really work. You will see some impressive crashes if people are going to crash there. So watch out for that one as well. But yeah, this is going to be, it should be a fun race.
Yeah, I think that the combination of the draft zones, if you will, I don't know, I guess we call them draft zones, the straightaways.
You mean most of the track.
Most of the track, which I like, but there's still plenty of opportunity to put on those brave, lick the stamp and send it type moves.
See, I'm not the only one that crashes here, by the way.
I saw that. I saw that. I think all the viewers saw that too, so no worries. That being said, you make the move, and then it's going to be tough to get actually separation because of the long straightaway. Well, they're long straightaways in the Skippy, not so much in the F1 cars, but it'll be what the strategy is for where you want to be come time for the final lap. You know what I mean? For all these battles that are going to be happening throughout the field, people are going to have to make a decision on, do I want to be in the lead? Do I want to, when do I want to make that pass? Like you said, that last chicane there, the bus stop is going to kind of be the difference maker, I think, going into everything as we cycle
Yeah,
through the practice.
there'll
Um,
definitely be some strategy in this because there are some places where you do not want to be in the front of somebody else. You want to be behind them so that you get the advantage of the draft. You get the advantage of not having to. And I mean, the draft for the Skippies is incredible, right? You can run at the same
huge
speed as
toe.
the guy in front of you with your throttle at 2/3. So you're using 2/3 of your normal amount of fuel, which is amazing, right?
And that's, I think, one of the factors, one of the many factors that went into the decision for the different point structure this season. It kind of decentivizes that hang back, draft, save fuel, and incentivizes you getting in the lead to get those points
Well,
for
yeah,
for
there
leading
is
laps.
definitely
But
that. There is
but yeah,
absolutely that.
you got to kind of weigh that against, if you're in a position to win or gain a spot or two at the end,
Yeah. And
it's
then, of course, the other thing is you might want to strategically stay behind somebody as you're going around, because then what you do is pick up the draft at a later stage and pass them over the line, right? So if you pick up the if you stick behind them all the way through, most of the track, and then on that last part going through Blanchette, and then down to the bus stop, you can draft past them and be several car lengths ahead prior to hitting the bus stop, and just they just have no chance of catching back up with you.
right. Yep. So we've got pit strategy, and we've got draft strategy, and we've got point strategy. And so, in addition to driving these cars inches away from one another and hitting their marks, all the drivers are going to have to be doing that mental math and figuring out what's going to work best for their race today. You know that I like to ask the drivers after the race about kind of what their strategy was going into it. I like to have a plan and be flexible. I think that I don't know if that's the right way to do it, because it seems like there's a lot of guys who are a lot faster than I am that seem to just kind of wing it. So maybe I need to start doing that a little bit more. But and
Yeah, but you come
it's
from a different world, right? If you get
that's
your
true.
fuel strategy wrong, it
That's
has more
true.
consequences than running out on the side of the road. I thought I had enough pounds of fuel to get me back, but I didn't.
It did not. That's right. And the other thing that we didn't mention yet is I was just bringing it up when we were killing time earlier, but I got the team standings up here. That's another thing to keep in mind, is that we do have teams at play, and that could factor in. You look at Running on Empty, who took the lead from Snail Racing, Race to Learn last week. They basically swapped positions and up 18 points now. That's nothing basically. So speaking of which, only 8.5 behind them is the B team, and then you can see the rest. Kaizen kind of falling 3 spots. That allows the Albino Buffaloes, Bent Wing, and Team Undecided to raise there. But that's just to further the point that there are teammates out there who may be able to draft, help each other out, and work together. That's just another wrinkle in the whole strategy to tonight's race. Let's bring up the best times for tonight. I do not see anybody having set a time just yet.
No, don't forget your lap times are going to be in the 2 minutes and 40. A really amazing lap will be in like 2 minutes 46, 45. So, your out lap is going to be 2.5 minutes. Then your first flying lap is going to be 2.5 minutes after that. So, expect
I
to wait a little bit before you start seeing those times pop.
I am seeing here Pete Mobron has quite a few purple sectors on the last lap, or I guess this lap, so we'll keep an eye on him to set a good initial time. Same thing with Edwin Viorino. These guys seem to be trading barbs as far as sectors go, so that'll be interesting to watch. And I don't know why my qualifying information is not showing up. There we go. Nothing to it. Here's Edwin out on the track, looking for a good result. Edwin currently sitting third overall in the points, just 1 point behind Pete. So even though Chris, like we mentioned, has gained quite a sizable lead, both Pete and Edwin, and actually, honestly, Jeffrey's within 11 points of them, and that could be a huge battle. So keep your eye on Pete, Edwin, and Jeffrey Decker tonight. Big mover throughout the standings, as you would imagine. Judah Tolman, he does have a couple less starts than everybody coming into the league later in the season, but he jumped 9 spots total last week into P14 as we look at Judah there from the Cav OK Racing blimp. And you can see
Wait,
the
you
time.
branded the blimp now?
You know what? I just made that up right now. I don't see
That's
why not.
pretty cool. I think you know, brand that blimp, dude.
Around the blimp. Let's see. Chris Herrera setting the fast time for the moment, at least. And another thing that I want to bring up is just how just pretty the track is, how picturesque.
Oh.
The hill, you're basically running through the hills here. I mean, and it's hard not to just get lost looking at the scenery, especially from this angle.
Beautiful track. It really is. It's a gorgeous track. I mean, I love racing here. I really do. It's not just, how it looks. It's the history of it, and it's such a flowing track as well. I mean, nearly all the corners are high-speed corners. It's just lovely.
I think one of the interesting things that I heard throughout the week on the Discord, I was actually pretty busy, unfortunately, with work this week, so I wasn't able to keep as in tune as I normally am, but one of the things that people were mentioning is they love this track. Not so much in the Skippy just because of how drafty, how reliant on the draft it becomes, but overall, the track itself, no complaints overall, so that's... Everybody seems to enjoy it, and at the end of the day, I think that we're all going to have a really good time watching everybody race this track because it is such a driver favorite, and at least from our perspective as spectators, the draft makes it super interesting, keeps the cars all together, and just brings another wrinkle of strategy into it. Edwin Viorino on a nice flying lap here, setting a couple purple sectors as he rounds the He's heading down the into the last final turns, into the chicane. And just another reminder for those who are maybe tuning in for the first time or don't remember, or don't do iRacing all that often. This qualifying, if you go off track, if you get an off track penalty, your lap does not count for this open qualifying. Or I'm sorry, for the qualifying, it's not open qualifying. But there you go, Edwin Viorino, a couple purple sectors, kind of saw that one coming, and he currently sits on the pole, but not by a heck of a lot. Let's look throughout the field here. Kyle Reed setting a nice lap for the time being, sitting in P9 in that 888. Got Doug Metzel in the 398. Currently sitting in 4th. Doug has only raced 2 races so far this season. And I don't remember exactly. It looks like he may have been involved in an incident at Zolder. He finished 10th at Nords and 28th at Zolder. So clearly he's got some speed. He's currently sitting P5. Curious to see what he's got in store for the field tonight. The usual suspects all surrounding him up there at the top of the field, including Ruben Ray, Jonathan Dance, Mike Barrows, Carl Dronke, Peter Nodwell, Tyler Reed, Judah Tolman, Louis Bobino, and Lyndall McMurphy, Bill Groombridge, Jonathan Dockery. Jonathan Dockery had some pretty fast laps in practice earlier. He's rocking a brand new paint scheme going into the race tonight, this Hot Wheels paint scheme, and he's definitely got the track down, and I'm excited to see the results of his practice. He was coaching multiple tenths of seconds off of other drivers' times throughout the week. So Jonathan showing up and doing some good coaching for some of the drivers earlier today. We've got the 186 of Sean Trediak there, sitting in P24 currently. For Kaizen Racing, they kind of took a little bit of a hit last week, but I think they can make a pretty good comeback. I think JR Hoops from Bent Wing Racing just ahead of him, setting a pretty good time. Justin Rebello we haven't seen, I don't think, in quite a while in the 79 there. One of my fellow flight sim enthusiasts. And we've got some big jumpers moving throughout the field. You can see the times are not that far separated. I know we brought that up before, and Ian likes to point that out too. Not a lot of times is going to be separating all these folks. Chris Stewart's out on track in the 15 Chick-fil-A Mobile, and Chris, very excited. We've been chatting about the new World of Warcraft coming out. I think he's going to get me into that, and I might waste some time in the cloud with that. I've never played it before, but the way he talks about it's very, very exciting. Yeah, go Kaizen Racing. Tom Photos checking in online there. Nice to see you. And actually, I want to try something new. There we go. I might have to blow that up a little bit. You can't really see that too well.
What are you showing them?
The chat from anybody who wants to make a comment there on either YouTube or Twitch should pop up. I may have to play with that a little bit, but I think that's a pretty neat little feature I can do.
That is pretty cool.
We like to try to get the audience involved because that's really what it's all about. People, friends, family.
My headset crashed.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're kidding me. Oh, lost my last lap.
Waiting for that G2 to come in, huh?
My lights went off, that's why. In my room.
That's not good.
Not really. Alexa, set the lights to 100%. The hell? Hold on, I gotta get up from the rig.
Oh my god, alright, well we'll let him get after that. Bill Groombridge currently sitting in P10. And let's take a look back in here on Pete. I believe he's finishing up his last lap. See if he can't make up a couple tenths of a second. Appears not to be his last lap. Tell you what though, Edwin, class of the field at the moment, dang near half second on the second place car of Pete Mobron. Does look like Chris Herrera is going to be starting P3. He is off the track at the moment. Same with Walter Collada in P4. Carl moved all the way up to P5. That's going to push Doug Metzola back to P6. And that's the end of our qualifying session.
Well, thanks to that wonderful lights going out, I got DQ'd from the qualifying,
yeah,
so I got to be at the back.
Not ideal, my friend. It's not ideal.
I'm starting P37. Good Lord.
But let's congratulations to Edwin Virino for the pole position and the points that come with it. Let's tune in.
Welcome to another Sunday Night Skippy edition.
Jason.
I want to remind you there's 40
Come on, Jason.
some cars on the grid.
Thanks,
some
Walter.
races we have 45.
Is it Walter today?
So I expect to see a lot more Skippies in your
Looks like.
race. And one of the differences between public races and this league race is that we race for 40 minutes.
He's apparently in a wind tunnel.
Pressure to get it done in 20,
Yeah.
especially on cold tires, early laps, turns like Holmes or Kuhan. It's encouraged that you leave a margin for error. And just understand that there's less urgency in this race than there is in your average pub. In general, we're seeing fewer and fewer moves that we do to your dive bombs. But if you are attempting to overtake a car into a corner and you do not have overlap with them, you are expected to yield the corner. Get out of their way. You have no right to be there. And we define overlap as overlap of your front axle with their rear axle. Blue flags are instructional, not informational. If you are given a blue flag, then you're expected to let the car by within a reasonable number of corner complexes. If you're coming up to a complex, it's possible that it might be most expedient for you to just stay ahead and let them by after. That's okay, but we expect you to have a plan in place and try to execute on it as quickly and efficiently as possible. Lastly, track limits. As a rule of thumb here with Spa, if it's green, whether it's painted concrete or grass-free or grass, we're not going to consider it part of the track. And if you have 3 wheels on it, we're going to look into it, especially if you use that to gain an advantage. You know, if you have to avoid an accident, that's obviously a non-issue, or if you're using it in an effort to be safe, that's also a non-issue. But if your line takes you on something green in order to gain an advantage, it's just not a good thing. You don't really want that. But yeah, I think that covers anything. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, and so if you do have any off tracks, one of the things that we'll look for is we'll look to see that you try to get back on track as quick as is reasonably possible. So if you do find yourself, say at Blanchemont, you're coming out of the exit and you're way off track, if you just run that out entirely, you'll probably be penalized with a time penalty there. It probably doesn't make sense for us to enumerate all of the other corners that we'll be looking at. It's Spa, so all of them. So if you're off track, try to get back on track as quick as you can. You don't have to ruin your race to do it. Don't do something crazy and unpredictable. But it's usually pretty clear if somebody's just running it out versus making a conscious decision to get back on track.
Sorry. Sometimes we use off track to avoid problems, car crashes ahead, especially in first lap. This is okay.
Yeah, certainly if you're going off track to avoid, an incident, that's totally fine. We're mostly talking about, if you've got some sort of compromised exit or you just take a corner too hot and you find yourself running wide, we just want you to get back on track as quick as you can.
Okay.
And another thing similar to Zolder, this is in the driver's meeting notes that went out earlier today. We don't do no passing zones. That's not really a thing in racing. But at the same time, through Eau Rouge and through the final chicane, one of the ways that we analyze incidents or high-risk maneuvers, basically the higher the risk, the more you're actually expected to pull it off. So if you take a really crazy risk going through Eau Rouge on, say, cold tires, and you take it 3 wide and you take everybody out, that's gonna be frowned upon. So you're free to pass wherever you see fit, as long as you have rights to the corner. But at the same time, just try to make good choices.
Make good choices.
Wise
So when I'm defending,
advice.
if I get off track, should I do the position or just keep going?
If you're defending,
Yes.
I mean, if you're defending, hopefully you're not already off track.
Yeah, if you happen to get an off track and you're defending, that's fine. Don't worry about it. We're really worried about cases where you use the limits of the track and go past them to maintain that. If they were going to pass you unless you went off track and that's how you stayed in front, then that's bad. But if you just have an off track and it doesn't look intentional, that's different. We don't really care about that.
Looks like
This
we're...
may,
All right, cool. Well, if there's
this may be
nothing
a
else,
record for shortest
minute.
drivers briefing yet.
Yeah, there you go. I would like to say we do have some new drivers with us. Driver number 913, Gurkham Demir, who you just heard speaking. But I think also Kim Luth, driver number 33. And I haven't... Has Phil been around for a while? I can't really remember.
I believe
Phil
so.
Arkelin, I think he has. But
Yeah.
welcome to those other two guys, because I don't think I've met them before.
Indeed. And Phil was in the Winter Challenge as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, and we got the shout out there for Judah Tolman. Awesome, great to see some 222 fans in the house tonight. We're looking down the barrel here of 48 Skippies that are about to take the green flag, lights, whatever it is, and roar on down to La Source. Alright, here we go. All week we've been practicing for this moment. Lights are out. We are green and the cars are off. You can see the swarm of Skippies head down into turn one.
But
3, 4 wide. You can see where they were talking about the off tracks.
Completely mad.
They made it.
That is just insanity going through there with all these people. It's crazy, man.
And I wanna highlight for those people who do not normally or don't do iRacing or don't understand. This is more than twice the field that you would see in a normal public race. So this is quite the accomplishment making around that first turn. And we do have somebody off track. That's Lyndall McMurphy trying to make his way back. I don't know what's happening there. Looks like he may have an internet issue. You can hear the tires squealing as they make their way and kind of start getting sorted out just a little bit. We do have some cars. We're still 2, 3 wide back here, a little further through the field. There's Steve Dewar in the 66. I'll check back up here with... Oh. No, yeah, I think Lyndall McMurphy is having a little bit of connectivity issues. He was off track, and I'm showing that he's crashed now, but not 100% sure what's going on there. You can see Pete Mulbron open up a half-second gap, but that's not going to last very long. As we talked about this draft, that's well within Edwin's ability to bring him on back into the fold along with everybody else. Jay Gaucher's off as well. Let's look at our race interval here, and oops, apologies for that. Ooh, we got some great racing back here. Carl, Walter, Judah. You see they're going 3 wide, a little further back even. As the... Oh, man, the 398 of Doug Metzel cuts down on Peter Nodwell just a little bit. They are able to keep it straight, though. You can see there Louis trying to make the move on the inside slash outside, and 1 lap is complete. We're starting lap number 2. Oh, Steve's gonna get sideways there. Not sure what happened, but he's a little slow. Hoping he can get back up to speed there. Nikolai Wood went off the track and crashed. Let's see what happened there. Oh, that was with the Steve Dewar incident there. Yep, just... That's exactly what we saw. And Nikolai locking up the brakes a little bit there, but trying to get it righted. And we're back to green flag racing. And there is just so much going on. Look at all this close racing. This is Jonathan Dance. And we do have Peter Lee in the pits right now. Not sure what happened there. Pim Luth has crashed. We can check in on Pim. Oh my. Not 100% sure what happened there. The 33 car. Yeah, I just kind of lost it. Got a little loose and could not save it. Alright, we're back to live. Let's check in now. Chris Herrera taking over the lead, and what happened to Pete? We'll take a look back and see this move. Chris Herrera was in 3rd. This just looks like a good draft. This is still a replay, but yeah, just a good slingshot engage move there from Chris, and he's gonna take over the top spot. Although, as we're talking, Carl makes the pass on Chris. So the lead being swapped here, as a reminder, points go toward the person who, it's not every lap led, it kind of depends on the length of the race, but it pays to lead laps, basically. And that's why they're fighting so hard. They're at the front, and no more of that playing the fuel strategy game, especially for those folks who are in tight point battles, which at this point is most of the field. Pim Luth is still in the pits after his spin. So Chris leaned for just a little bit. Carl stealing the thunder. Making their way through Eau Rouge. We do have a pass here further back. Don Parks making his way past Jeffrey Decker, going up the hill. Awesome, clean racing going on. Jeff Torback a little back further, right behind Nikolai Wood, who was involved in that earlier incident. Oh, and we got another car. Gherkin Demir, the newcomer, off the track. You could see him over there. I'm not sure what happened, but either way, this is great 2x2 racing. A little further back, Chris. Oh boy.
That was me. I got taken out.
Yeah, we were watching. Holy cow. All right.
Dang, man. Well, that was a bit of a shocker.
Here we go. All right. Back to live racing. Let's check in as Chris has retaken the top spot. For how long, though, nobody knows. It's very tough to hold on to the lead here, in case you haven't noticed. So we're looking at the top, I would say probably 6 have kind of broken away. Checking with the Walter Collada here toward the back of that front pack. This is what we'll start calling them. They've got about 3 seconds to Ruben Ray and Peter Nodwell and Doug Metzel. So kind of a little separation starting to form. Just checking in here with Mike Bowers in that 76, looking ahead from Don Park's point of view here. You can see they're going 3 wide into the final chicane, and they're going to make contact. Oh, Mike Bowers saves it. Oh, but he's going to take out the 13, Paul Bachler. And it is just pandemonium now. And Mike is just going to have to sit there and wait. There's just no way to safely rejoin until all the cars work their way past, unfortunately for him. As he's going to make his way into the pits. All right, well, further up here, Pete Mulbron retaking the lead. Although, for long how we don't know. Let's ride along board with Edwin Viorino there. You can see he's watching this battle up ahead. And they are 2 by 2, wheel to wheel. Great racing happening up in the front of the field. And Doug Metzel has taken over the P7 spot from Ruben Ray in that second pack, and they have kind of been keeping it around 3 seconds for the time being. Let's keep an eye on them and see what sort of time they're making. Let's actually look right now. I keep forgetting that I have this capability. Here's your last 3 laps, and you can see that actually the front pack, this is Walter Collada's view, they're kind of gaining quite a bit of time on the first 3 laps. So expect to see that gap widen just a little bit. And let's check back in a little further back with John Tretiak and Jonathan Dockery, and that's Adam Wright in the 30 of Jeremy Grandin. These guys have got some great side-by-side racing going on. This is the battle currently for P19. Oh, and they're going to make contact. The 47 is going to go around. And that's Sean Tretiak making contact with Jonathan Dockery. It does not look like there's a ton of damage on those cars, but obviously they're probably going to want to pit and take advantage of that fast repair. Carl Gronke now currently in the lead with Judah Tolman in second place. So the front continues to just mix it up. And check out that gap. It's actually kind of fallen now. Doug Metzel leading that second group. They are now shy of 3 seconds back from the front pack. And so you can see there Steve Dewar in the 66 and passed by Oliver Hartley. Steve Dewar's rear wing seeing better days from that early contact with, I believe it was Nikolai. And Jonathan Dockery after the contact and Sean Tretiak both involved in that incident. They are both in the pits too, I think probably a little early for fuel. So they may have to pit one more time. Back up in the lead. Pete Mulbron taken back over. So they just kind of seem to be taking turns. Up here, great. Whoa, they're 3 wide. Oh, who's that? Off. That's Jack Moffat's going to be forced off the track, and just, again, no real safe way to re-enter, so right along board with Jack and kind of see. Kind of tried to squeeze it in there and bailed out to save the rest of the group there. Good call by Jack, but that's really going to hurt his chances here tonight. Now currently sitting P33. Oh, we got another crash. Oh, where was that? Darn it. I cannot handle this. There's just too much going on here.
It's really hard for two of us, and when I say two of us, I mean one of us, to keep up with what is going on with 40 plus Skippies.
There's way too much going on. Oh my goodness, and I'm seeing Lyndall McMurphy's off the track here too. Yeah, I think he must be having some VR or something issues, because he's just having a rough night there. Alright, back up front. And we really haven't been focused on this lead group. They've been having some great racing, but it's just so tough because there's so much going on throughout the field. Here's Aaron Law making the pass on Jason Bice. Looking forward at Jonathan Dance. Your battle for P15 back here. Shaping up to be a good one. And yeah, that's got to be internet, right? Tom, I mean, holy cow. He just went straight off. All right. Well, for the back, Steve Dewar making the pass on Oliver Hartley, but you can see the train of Chris Herrera and Pete O'Brien just making their way past Carl. And there's just no way to defend that. At least not right now. You can start throwing blocks later, but you don't want to be doing that this early in the race. We're ticking past 15 minutes here in that 40-minute race. I would expect to see the pit window start to open on the next lap, probably at the earliest, I would imagine. Probably not this one.
Well, also, I mean, those guys that are in those trains, you know, they're running at a lot lower throttle levels. I mean, right now I'm sitting behind Chris Stewart, and he's just dragging me around the track very nicely. Thank you very much, sir.
This is very, very true. So you see, especially, I mean, Walter, I think, has been consistently in the back of that pack. He's just kind of hanging out, so I got to imagine he's been doing really, really good on fuel, whereas the rest of them are kind of trading barbs with trying to lead the pack. That being said, the gap has widened. They got it down under 3 seconds, and now they're back to nearly 4.5 to Doug Etzel in that 398 machine. So that second group now just getting a little bit of separation. And actually the whole field's starting to just kind of string out just a little bit. Right on board with Paul Bachler for a moment. He's in the back of this train in the battle for P10. So at the front there is Justin Rebello. Well, now it's Louis Bovino. But Justin was up 8 spots. He's now up 9. And they're going to go through the final chicane. Boy, you can see how just squirrely everything can get. It's not comfortable. Holy cow, Jason Bison, Aaron Loff crashed. Ooh, that's going to hurt. Let's go take a look at what happened there. Oh, and the 93. Oof. Yep. That was just a bad wheel contact, and that's going to collect quite a few cars in the process. Alright, well. Get back to some live racing. Back up in the front, Carl Dronke is retaking the lead over Pete Mobron, Chris Herrera, Judah Tolman, Edwin Viorino, and of course Walter Collada, the caboose of the front train, as is tradition there on lap 7. We've just ticked past 18 minutes, and so far no real takers to pit road outside of those who have received damage. I do see R. Scott Bell leaving pit road, as well as Jack Moffitt. I'm not sure if Bell received damage or not. We do know that Jack Moffitt had sustained damage earlier. And a little further back, got Kyler Reed trying to make the move there for P12. And actually just up here, Justin Rebello and Don Parks having some fun. Look back from Don's perspective here.
Pardon me?
And Justin's just trying to get that really good run on the straight, and you can just see how easy it is once if you can time it just about right. Just no defending it unless you're willing to throw a block or two, and it's just not smart. So Pete Walter pit, team full fuel strategy is in the pits. They will be the first takers for the fuel strategy wise, so not withstanding the cars that came in to get some repairs. That's going to leave Carl Dronke in the lead, heading down the hill. Nelson Addison also in the pits. We haven't talked about Nelson much, but you can see him there in the 22 car rolling down pit road to get his race fuel. Once again, these cars, it is not advisable to change your tires. Not only does it take forever in a day, but it's actually not gonna help at all. These are not racing slicks. So, and pit strategy is starting to come into play now. So let's bring up pit lap, and we will change from interval to gap. So this will be each driver's gap to the leader instead of the person in front of them, and we will be able to get a better track on where everybody comes out. So looking right now, these are your leaders. You can see where they are on the track map. Chris Herrera leading the field, and here is Pete Mobron, currently sitting in P18. And Walter Collada, who had pit with him, same team, is in there in P21. So Pete is currently 30.8 seconds back. His total time on pit lane was 46.87 seconds. So keep that in mind. See if we can do this. There's Pete, and there's Chris from the Cav OK Racing Bloom. Carl Dronke taking the lead going into the last chicane, and maybe pit road. No, they're going to go again. Lead train decides to go again. Carl, Chris, Judah, and Edwin on their way around for lap 9. As we tick past 23 minutes in our 40-minute race. Don, Louis, Kyle, and Justin Rebello all hitting pit road. And let's check in here. This is the closest racing on the track at the moment. Jason, Bison, Phil, Eric Hellion. Phil up 22 spots now. Well, make that 24 because Jason just passed him. Phil's going to let him by. Jason involved in an earlier incident, only up 3 spots. He's going to stay out just a little bit longer, it appears. I do not believe... No, he did. So Jason has pit. He pit on lap 6. So I do not know if he's got fuel. So did Jonathan Dance. They may have fuel. And a fast repair, obviously. Here's your leaders. As you can see on the timing tower, all the drivers that are in pit lane or have pit. Really, the top 9, and then Pete. They are making just a little bit of ground on Pete and Walter. And then just a few stragglers left who have not gone in to get the rest of their fuel for the rest of the race. 24 minutes and 20 seconds into our 40-minute race. It's the 13 car of Jeffrey Decker and JR Hoops. Jeffrey Decker from the B team. He is currently the guest help steward for the league as James Hauser quite busy with some real life stuff, so Jeffrey stepped in thanks to him. JR Hoops and Bill Groombridge right behind Jeffrey trying to get that tow, work their way up. JR currently down 2 spots, so not too bad. And Bill down 7. Unfortunately, Jonathan Dance, who's behind them in that hot green, yellow, I don't know, and black car, currently down 11 spots.
Oh, Steve is in the lead now. Is that because of pitting?
Yeah, so Chris Herrera and Judah Tolman and Carl Jonke Edwin. Holy crew is currently in pit lane. See them coming down there. That's actually going to leave Adam Wright for the moment. Nope, Adam's in. So really, it's Steve's show right now to do what he wants with it. Let's see if he stays out for one more and leads the lap or not.
Get a couple of points for that.
No, he's gonna decide not to. All right, well, sorry, we normally focus on this, but here comes Pete around the corner, and Carl's and the rest of the crew are gonna beat him out. But they are all right and still in a pack, so not by much. Actually, Pete's, with the momentum, is able to skirt past Chris and Judah and Edwin, so Pete kind of slides right back in. And actually, with the draft, is going to make the pass, so all in all, worked out pretty well. Pete taking the lead, but, you know, obviously that's not going to be for too much longer. You can see Walter back there kind of trying to hang on to the draft if he can make it back up. He's just over 2 seconds back from that lead group. Now that everybody's pit, let's look at the pit lane time so you can get a sense. This is the time from when they entered pit lane to when they exited. You can see that it's actually, they're all fairly good.
Whoa, why did you hit me?
I think Chris Herrera actually had and Judah Tolman had a longer pit stop, but they still managed to make it out in the train, so.
Okie dokie. Well, it looks like I will be joining the broadcast.
Okay. Looking there, you and Chris Stewart and the Chick-fil-A machine.
Yeah, we just we touched, and I bounced.
Touched wheels.
I have no idea if it's my fault, his fault, whose fault. I don't really think, but yeah.
There you go. Well, come back to live. Carl now in the lead. I'm looking through. There's not too much going on. You can see Paul Bachler really on the gearbox of Don Parks in the battle for 11th. Don up 7 spots total, and our biggest movers and shakers, which is probably another good thing to look at.
Adam Wright's up 26. Steve Dewar's up 32. Jason Bice. Oh, maybe not.
I'm sure, yeah. Jason's, well, either way, Jason's still up 13 according to my stats here, but Adam up 10. Andrew Cole up 15. And you can't see him on the timing tower because, there we go. We just don't have room for everybody, unfortunately, but the 940 of Phil Arikelian up 11 spots. Sorry, we should focus on Andrew Cole there. Cole W. Cole, as my overlay likes to call him. Currently sitting P31, but up 15 spots. I'm showing him as our biggest mover of the evening so far, so nice job there, Andrew.
And the front pack has really hung together really well. I mean, they're
really
still
have.
there, they're still doing their thing, and it's really impressive. We just had a lead switch. I think it looks like Pete has dropped back 2 places, and there's actually 3 places coming into Lecum.
Woo. Getting a little squirrely back there. We're approaching the 30-minute mark now, so 10 minutes remain. And things getting quite spicy. Walter now making contact with that group. Worked his way up from a nearly 3-second deficit. Maybe a little over 2, I forget now. But we've got a 6-way battle for the win for all intents and purposes. Because it's going to be another 8 seconds back there to Ruben Ray, Doug Metzel, and Peter Nodwell in the second group. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, we've got a great mid-pack battle here for P20. Bill Groombridge, Jonathan Dance enjoying themselves with JR Hoops, Aaron Law, and Nelson Addison looking on. And a little further back, Nikolai Wood leading a pack that consists of Oliver Hartley, Jack Moffitt, and Mike Bowers. Another driver we haven't had much chance to talk about so far this evening, Jake Ashe. Currently up 2 spots there, right behind Phil, and Rich Butler behind him, up 6 spots. So all 3 of these drivers having a great overall showing tonight.
And
working
Don
their
Park
way up from their
is working his way up behind Louis Baboni. And so we'll see what happens there, but they're both pretty quick drivers.
Yeah, indeed. This is going to be a nice mid-pack battle to watch. I say mid-pack, it's like top quarter pack. Normally it'd be mid-pack.
Lewis is in 10th and Don is in 11th, so he's just outside of the top 10. I'm sure he's desperate to get himself into the top 10.
Indeed. My internet, I can't handle it anymore. All right.
Well, Paul Nodwell's putting some pressure on Doug Metzel to see if he can get it. And who's this? Ruben Ray has passed Doug. going down
hold
the
on, we're
Camel
going
Straight.
Three
And they're-
wide. Are they gonna make it? Sorry.
I don't know.
Oh my goodness. Oh, the top pack, man. They're going 3 wide already. We still got a couple laps left, and they're really putting on a show. That is some gutsy moves. Carl is going to walk away with the lead, though, after all of that.
It's
Woo. Ooh, nice over-under move by Jonathan, but unfortunately Bill's going to have the advantage for the moment. Jonathan Dance looking outside, and looks like he's going to go clear. Aaron Law tried to follow him, just ran out of momentum and track space there.
the front packer streaming around the last few corners down to Blanchemont before again running up against the bus stop. It looks like Chris Herrera's taken an inside line. Pete McBroughton's pushed his nose in there and is trying to take the place from Carl Drunke as they come up into the bus stop and they straighten themselves out. Oh, okay. Whew. They stream through the bus stop and then down. How many of them now? Oh my gosh! And the chasing pack is catching. It's catching them. They can see them on the start-finish straight before La Source.
I mean, I foot stomp this every time, and I do apologize for being repetitive, but the amount of skill that it takes to do that, I think people think in their heads like, oh, I could probably do that. No, you can't. These guys are really putting on a show. This is very tough to do to be that accurate with these cars specifically, and that's why you see so many wheel touches and stuff like that, because it's just plain and simple, not that easy. And
no, it isn't. It isn't, and it's a lot of concentration and a lot of thinking and planning. Oh, lots of changes. Oh, here we go. They're going into that, and there's a whole smear of them. I mean, it's not even a pack anymore. It's like, it's like a seeds on a bagel.
This is a everything bagel with cream cheese, and I'm here for it, man. Let's toast it.
We've got another little group back in the mid-pack. They're heading up into Lacombe, all fighting for position. Aaron Ladd, Jonathan Dance, Nelson Addison, all fighting for some of those positions.
Megan heard me making bagel references, and now she wants a bagel, so I might have to do that after the.
Well,
race.
she is the one in charge right now.
She's exactly eating bagels for two, and.
Now my question is, has she had any like weird things? Like, is she,
it's been pretty straightforward. I think the.
No pickles and peanut butter, or.
No. I mean, definitely the pickles, but we left the peanut butter out of it this time.
So right
good.
now. Who have we got in first? We've got Carl Drunke.
Carl, well, for the moment.
Pete McBroughton. Pete McBroughton now. Pete just overtook Carl in Blanchemont. And they're coming round the high-speed corner. Let's see if... he goes a bit wide! But he's got the... But Carl's got the overlap. And into the...
Chris is going to go off. They're going to touch, but luckily through the chicane, oh man, he's going to have probably one more
If
lap.
you look at his car, he's got some damage, I think, there to the back right wheel. It doesn't Does it? I'm not really close enough. Let me get a bit closer. Let's see. Right rear suspension.
Check that out, because
okay.
he's got a second now to make up, and I do believe this is the white flag lap.
It is. It is. The white flag is showing. No, he looks okay. He's catching back up to him as he goes through La Rouge and up through Radion and onto the Camel Straight. He's got a bit of a gap, but he's a bit lower. He's got, he's just behind getting the drag that everybody else is getting ahead of him.
Oh man, and they're gonna go 3 wide. Edwin, Pete, and Carl, and Walter trying to find a way to
jockeying for position through Lacombe.
They're trying to get into that final spot that they want to be in for that last straightaway, and then the final turns.
And then while they're doing that, Chris is catching up behind them.
Oh yeah, like it's nothing. He's already made contact back there with Judah. They still have plenty of racetrack left to go. About halfway through the lap, distance-wise, now I'm showing. So certainly plenty of time, and we've got great racing going on back further in the pack too. Keep your eyes there on P20 on back. Lots of passes happening, and I'm sorry we can't show it all to you, but holy cow, these leaders just kind of putting on a show tonight and cannot look away.
I keep losing.
So
there we go.
At least for the first time in a long time, Edwin takes the lead. I don't know if he's maybe even momentarily had the lead earlier tonight,
but watch this, because now he's going to be subject to the draft, and they are not going to be easy coming down this through Blanchemont. This is going to be interesting, because they are. This is it. This is for the whole enchilada. This is for the cookies, cake, and cream, right? I think Walter is maybe a touch too far back. Judah is making a move on him, but he's a bit out of the draft. Chris is back up with the pack, and here we go. This is where it's going to get interesting, folks. There is going to be no hold. Give it all. They touched. Oh, here we go. He's out of his shape. And they crashed! They've crashed! People have lost tires, people have lost wheels. Oh my goodness me! What an end to the race! That needs a replay, sir.
Ooh.
Holy cow, what happened there? So they're coming into the last the bus stop chicane. Who's that? That's I'm trying to get all the names right now. That was Edwin. Edwin's in good position. So that was Walter, got a bit out of shape. Dropped a tire into the grass just before, and he must have been hard in the braking zone. That just set him a little bit out of shape. Then he came down in. He was off track, turned in. But while he was doing that, oh my goodness me. It looks like Edwin lost it, went too far in. At the same time, luckily for Edwin, he lost it, but at the same time, Pete spun. And they just collected 4 of them. What an end to the race. Whew. Oh my goodness me. Goodness me.
Oops. Oh no. I was trying to watch the end there with Jake and Rich Butler. They were having a pretty good race for the end. Rich taking it home though. All right, well, as the last of the drivers make it around the bend here in our traditional Sunday night Skippy Wreckfest, let's look at that final
oh my gosh
turn where folks are in Edwin.
Absolutely have to pull that up again. That was incredible. Who'd have thunk it?
Walter gets it a little loose. Yeah, Edwin locks it up, but actually Carl gets it a little loose there too, and that's gonna the whole right side there. Basically everybody but Walter didn't even have a chance after that. Go ahead. So they all kind of They all kind of backed it up. Let's try to take one more. Trying to get different views of this here. And it was definitely some great racing. I mean, look at that. 6 cars trying to send it into a chicane for the win. And that's just going to back everybody up, and not much you can do about that. One more time, let's look at it from Chris Herrera's perspective, because he was in the back of all of this. So you can see what he was looking at the 5 cars in front of him. How do you make it, you know, he's got to be looking through this just mess of Skippy's, like, how am I going to pull this off? You can see Walter locking it up, Edwin locking it up. So he's like, oh man, I've got a great move on the outside here. Nope.
Not really.
Not really. Thought I had it. Thought I had it for a second.
You thought you did, but you thought wrong. Good Lord.
Oh, boy.
That was the end to a race. Oh my goodness me, that's amazing. That is just phenomenal. Just phenomenal.
It really is. That was a lot of fun to watch. Let's bring up our final results. I guess unofficial, but official for the most part. Edwin Virino wins after getting the pole. And so he's going to be taking home some points tonight there. Congratulations, Edwin. Walter and Pete will round out your podium, and I will scroll through the rest of the results for you. Wow.
While you were saying that, I was just watching on the screen behind where it says privateer. Oh, sorry, it's just changed screens on me, but you could see a tire gently bouncing across the screen.
Just kind of bouncing.
Oh, goodness
boy.
Me. Well. What an end to a really, really intensive race.
We just took 47 Skippies around Spa, and I'm sure there's going to be some things to review, but I mean, shoot, overall, can't be too disappointed with that. And it's always a good problem to have when we do not know exactly what to look at, just because there's so much close racing going on throughout the field.
Yes. No, that was phenomenal. That was phenomenal.
You know, it's funny. I'm not seeing anybody in the interview standby booth. I think there's. I don't know if it's just that anybody wants to take the risk and.
Well, I think we should wait a little, because you never know. We might get someone, especially I mean, we need to find out what was going through their heads when that happened. It's like, oh my gosh! After all this work and effort, you know,
I would personally like to see it, but
I think you should just replay that again. Let's replay it again. See if you can find that thing, and let us walk through it once more. Oh, that's a great picture. That's awesome.
Right.
Look,
we're gonna have to screen grab that and make that our. All right, coming back here to the checkered flag. Oops, that's not who we want to be. There we go. So there they are, like almost 3x3, just not quite 3x3, and
yeah, you can see where people are starting to make little mistakes right there, and getting off a line and getting a bit wiggly, and he just goes around, doesn't he? Just goes around on his own. Oh, well, did he get pushed? I mean, it could be that he got pushed by our friend in by was it Walter? In snail racing? No, Pete.
Take a look. This is from Pete's point of view, so which I'm sure Pete is currently in his own stream. Oh yeah, there's just nowhere for him to go. Carl got a little loose coming around the corner there, and I mean, he saw the side of.
Yep. That was it, wasn't it?
Side of the car. Yeah.
Did it all on his own. But I mean, Pete still manages to. I mean, if you see his front left and right wheels were broken for a moment, and the magic of the internet fixed them for him, and he was able to come through third place.
Actually, we got Judah Tolman in here, so let's bring Judah. We're actually on board with your view here of the end. You were on the right side of the track, and it looked like in a kind of a good spot to maybe do an over/under move there for the end, but obviously with Carl getting sideways, things just got stacked up. But talk us through what you kind of saw going in there, because that was, I'll tell you what, man, we're yelling, super exciting stuff to watch there at the end.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I've looked at the replay a couple times, and at first I thought it was 100% my fault, and I looked at the replay and I was able to kind of take a step back and realize that it wasn't in fact 100% my fault. But I think the blame is going to be shared on all of us going into that chicane. That's up to the stewards to make that decision. But the only thing that I saw was Pete's car just getting closer and closer and closer, and my brake pedal not working fast enough.
It certainly happens. The question, of course, is who will be the postmaster general that actually licked that stamp and sent it?
I gotta say, I think it was me. I dove. I mean, there was a swarm of cars in there, and I just dove right in the middle, late braking, and I tried to make up as many positions as possible. But obviously, with the cars sliding everywhere, it's tough to keep it clean.
It is. But
Yeah.
what a fabulous race that was.
Yes, the rest of the race was honestly one of my favorite moments in iRacing. It was just the whole race was incredibly fun. Everyone was pretty aggressive, but nothing too crazy. It was very respectful, very well driven by the 5 guys that I was racing with tonight.
I'm so glad to hear that. Whereas, I mean, I didn't get to see obviously most of the stuff at the front, having my own little wonderful issues at the back, but I do get to hear Chris talking about the whole thing as we're going along, and it's quite a laugh to be listening to what's going on at the front when I can't see it. So I could only imagine, but the lead must have changed hands. I don't know how many times.
Oh, it was above 10, maybe 15. It was a lot because everyone was vying for that lead lap bonus point. So when you for all the viewers who are unfamiliar with this, when you lead a lap, you get a bonus point, and everyone was just going for that, trying to get that extra point added to the tally.
And there was a lot of opportunity for that. I mean, we talked about this in the broadcast, but also on the Discord about how much draft capability this track allows, and we saw that on full display tonight with these long straightaways and people kind of taking advantage of that. And there's not, what I was saying is there's not much you can do about it. I mean, you can block maybe one person, but when you've got 5 cars behind you, there's no way.
There's no way.
You can't make your car that wide.
Yep. It's very difficult because if you don't do anything, then all of a sudden you're right at the back of the pack. Like you saw that happen to me right at the on the second to last lap. I just got put all the way back in 6th because everyone sent those big moves up the main straightaway, and I was a little bit more timid than everyone, and I was afraid of getting in a wreck. So I backed out and I kind of just hung out in the back until the opportunity made itself available. But I mean, other than the ending, that was, like I said, one of the most fun moments I've had in iRacing. When me and Edvin left the pits at the same time, we went too wide through the pit exit. That was, I didn't even think it was possible to do that. I was having a hard time getting my car out of the pit exit this week. But props to Edvin or Edwin. I'm not quite sure how you say the name, but it was clean driving on his part, clean driving on my part, and I'm glad we both made it out alive.
Absolutely.
Well, hey man, as another, you ended up 6 spots in P4 from what I'm showing, and I think it was just another great feather in your cap of a race as we continue on toward the last 2 races of the season. You had some fans watching you tonight. I saw them checking in on the comments. Do you have any shout outs you want to give?
Of course, as it's always been the past couple weeks, like shout out to my family and everyone else, even if they're not family watching this. A couple of my friends decided to tune in this week, and what a good week for them to tune in because, man, this was fun. And I'm sure it was exciting to watch. So, yeah, shout out to everyone who watched.
It was really hard to take the camera off you guys. There was some great racing happening all throughout the field, but it was just we couldn't do it. You guys were putting on such a show. So congratulations again on the P4, and looking forward to next week for you.
Definitely looking forward to next week for myself. Thank you guys as always for bringing me in. I appreciate it, and I will catch you next week.
Awesome. Have a great week.
Yep, you too.
Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
Awesome. Well, let's bring in Jonathan Dockery, who had some speed throughout the week, and I know was really looking forward to the race tonight. And we got to watch you race and for a few laps there. Probably not the night you were looking for overall, but yeah, how'd that feel?
How did it feel?
That was the race.
I'm gonna say that I really respect the broadcast, and I come in here because out of respect for you all doing what you do. You all like interviewing people. I'm gonna thank Airs iRacing Painting for painting up my new car, which I think is awesome. As far as how I feel about the race, all I'm gonna say about that is same old shit, brand new Sunday.
Oh no.
I had 2 incidents. I don't know if y'all saw them or not. I went back and watched them. I don't know what really happened with Max. I wasn't trying to dive bomb him, but I got up under him and we net coded. And I'm so sick this season of all the I'm sorries and I'm sorries and I'm sorry I touched you and all that. So like I sent Max a message and I was like, dude, oh, you an apology, but I ain't saying sorry. What I'm gonna tell you is there was some net code, and I'm not saying I'm sorry. I'm saying I will be better next race.
Well, I
And
think that's
then
an admirable position to take, working to be better.
and I don't know. We're not supposed to do call outs in the race. I don't know if it counts in here or not, but at this point of the season, I don't care. Like me and Sean Tetriak were racing really hard for like 5 turns, plenty of respect, plenty of room. I went and watched the replay. He sent me an I'm sorry, but he overdrove a turn, got way outside, came down inside, and hit me square in the back of the car and spun me out. It is what it is. It's how my season's going, but I'm so sick of getting punted from the back. And I've done it twice, and I've owned up to it. Like at Watkins Glen, I hit Mike Bowers, nailed him because I was worried about a guy dive bombing me, and I ran over Mike, and I apologized as soon as I did it. At least if you run somebody over, apologize when you do it, and don't wait for 30 minutes after you do it. That's all I got to say about it. But thanks for the interview, and thanks for all y'all do. And I guess I'll see y'all next week. But yeah,
All right, man. Well, better luck.
I was
Better luck
definitely
for you
looking
next
forward
week.
to this race. I mean, this week I think I've sat on the pole 5 times, and I've raced probably 16 times. It was a blast. But
It was a
y'all have
great race.
good one.
You too,
It was
mate.
a great race for some people. Yes.
That's right. And hey, at the very least, the paint scheme was looking hot. So looking forward to seeing that again.
Looking forward to running some Indy next season. I've got a Hot Wheels Indy car that looks way better than my Skippy. So
cool.
There you go.
Let's see y'all next week.
All right, man.
Take care, mate.
Yep. Have a good one. All right. Well, it's Jonathan Dockery, clearly frustrated Jonathan Dockery, and I know he was looking forward to this week and had some speed, but just wasn't gonna happen for him. We do have Pete Mobron, who ended up P3 overall, putting on a great show with that front pack that we've been talking about, and I guess I'm not even gonna try to set up a question here. Just talk us through what you saw there at the very end, because I'll tell you what, it was a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
It was.
It was kind of the classic Spa thing. Everyone's trying to think what's going to happen in the final chicane as they're coming around T1 on that,
right.
Final lap, right? And I like third. I like P3 coming in there, right? Because, you can react and see what's going on with P1, P2, and, make a decision accordingly. So I managed to get that position. Edwin put a little bit of a squeeze. I'm not sure he expected me to be that close behind Carl. But we got through that little kink okay, and then I figured it was going to be an extremely hairy battle between Earl and Edwin. I was going to see if there's a way I could go for an over/under, somehow compromise that right-hander and get a big old run into the left. Unfortunately, right as Carl turned in, I immediately started to see his rear end started to rotate a little bit. And the very, very first instinct was like, he'll probably be able to catch that. And then I saw the puff of smoke. I'm like, he's not catching that. So I tried to stand it in its nose, and I think we actually would have been okay. But we had a swarm of bees behind us. So I got some help from behind that pushed me into Carl, that pushed Carl into Chris, and it got very intimate and very exciting very quickly. So we, we did what we could with that result. But classic spa things, but still, I'm no fan of this combo. I think I've made that pretty well known, but I would like to thank, all the guys here. This was if it's possible for me to enjoy this combo, this is about as close as it's going to get.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, no, it was up until that point, it was a lot of fun watching the 6 of you actually, I'm sorry, go through just trading barbs, and we were talking about how tough it is there's no way you're just kind of maintaining the lead with the draft available to you. I think that's one of the reasons why you're not a super fan. But
we tried to make that work with me and Walter tried to make that work doing the undercut, but unfortunately, because we were going to drop out and then run our own draft pack. I was watching the Race Lab apps flat map I've got up on my stream, so I could see, hey, we've got a good opportunity here. There's only one car that I'm worried we might get caught up on. We got a great gap. Let's go in. But unfortunately, Walter overfueled and ended up coming out 2.5 behind, which there's 0.8, 0.9 seconds in draft. Come on, so I'm like, that's it. We're dead in the water. So where we should have come out ahead, I was fully expecting us to have been dropped by 2-3 seconds. I was jazzed to be able to be back in that pack again when they all came out of the pits. That was a nice surprise.
That's awesome.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we definitely noticed that. It was really fun that we got to see a little bit of fuel strategy come into play, and teammate strategy on top of that. That was a lot of fun to see you guys do that. But yeah, overall, P2, P3 for full fuel, or I'm sorry, I have it out here, full fuel strategy. I gotta fix that. Snail racing, race to learn. That's my bad. I kept calling you full fuel strategy, and I'm realizing now that is not accurate anymore. But it was a great result for you guys. 2 podium spots for the team. Great show that you all put on, and you were able to keep it despite the tight quarters. Keep the car straight enough to pull out a P3. And congratulations on the win, or I'm sorry, the on the podium. And what are we doing next week? We are
at Donington next week, and in my favorite corner, T6.
Okay, so we have a Pete Mobron favorite corner. Now, is this a true favorite, or is this a
no, not at all?
Okay, all right. This is the sarcastic favorite turn.
It's a fun track. It's a nice. It's not super technical, but it's got some cool features. And T6 is one of those cool features. It's basically like falling down a staircase at the top of 4th gear, but the track limits are kind of spa-like, right? I probably get more off tracks in that one corner than in one race than often I get all week.
Yeah, some of those track limits tonight were a bit weird.
Yeah, the thing with spa is always the consistency. It wouldn't be so bad if it was always tight or always permissive, but the sometimes okay, sometimes not is frustrating.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, Pete, thanks for joining us, and great job again. We will see you next week at Donington. Have a great rest of your week, I suppose.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. I did just want to give a quick shout out to the Race to Learn folks and Snail Racing and mention that we just started our inaugural, I guess we call it beta or preseason for the Snail Racing GT3 League that they're going to be running every Sunday. And we're also refactoring some of the Race to Learn curriculum. So if you have any interest, give us a holler, join the Discord, or shoot me a message. We'd be happy to set you up.
What times are you running these races and the Race to Learn sessions?
I believe we're going to be sticking with that 3 p.m. Central It was at 2100 or 2200 in UK time. So the Race to Learn session on Saturday and the GT League on Sunday.
So both of those will be at 3 p.m. Central?
I believe so. Yeah, I think
Okay,
we're still trying to work, dial it in.
4 p.m. Eastern.
That sounds good. Yep, that's right.
Yep. Okay, cool. Well, there you heard it here, folks.
So yeah, the GT3 cars we ran for the first Winter Challenge race, and I tell you what, I did not know that I would like tin tops at all whatsoever, and I had a blast in the Audi. And pair that with the Snail Racing Race to Learn, kind of construct and series, and the good folks they have over there, including Pete. And I think that's a winning combo. So if you're interested, check it out. We'll be happy to get you hooked up.
Yeah, we absolutely will. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ian.
All right, mate. Take care. So who have we got left? We've got
Awesome.
Chris Herrera and Judah.
Where I talked to Judah.
We were also Chris Herrera.
Yeah, we got Chris Herrera. We got Chris Herrera, who did not run out of fuel, but ran out of time, unfortunately. And you had a little bit of lost position there going into the last lap. You managed to get it back, but I'll tell you what, 5 cars basically blocking the track in front of you. There wasn't a whole lot that you were going to be able to do. But so what was your strategy going into that final lap?
Let me think here. So my strategy going into the race was to be in the top 5. Obviously, you always want the win, but based on the public races that I did this week, I knew that it was a very sketchy track, especially going towards the end, because as you saw, there's just a crazy amount of draft going in there. And it's very similar to Nürburgring, where it's really up until the last lap, and then it's about strategy and I guess courage. And in my case, I want the win, like I mentioned, but my goal was to really be top 5, and I guess I just barely skated in there because I knew that based on the championship points, I didn't need to fight too hard in this particular track. And considering that it's a very dangerous track and I'd been crashed out a couple times before, I was being extra cautious. At times, it maybe didn't look like it because I guess my racing blood kicked in and I wanted to be in front of certain people.
So it's always easier to say I'm going to take it easy, but once the green flag drops, it's all bets are off.
Oh my god, yeah, absolutely. It's got to be something primal built into human nature.
Right.
You got to be in front.
That lizard brain gets in there.
Yeah, going into that last lap, I knew there were 6 of us going into that final turn, and I slowed down quite a bit because I figure worst case scenario, P6, that's not terrible. Best case scenario, people will crash out and I can get around them, and sort of did that. But unfortunately, I hit the gas a little bit too hard when I was still on the grass, spun out more than I expected, and I think I could have salvaged a 4th place if not for that. But again, I'm really happy with the P5, and I think you'll be talking. Oh, did you already talk with Judah? I don't recall, but
we did. He
had another great finish, Q10 to P4, I believe, and. Congrats to Edwin. He got a Q1 P1. That's just incredible on this particular track, and I know that he had a blazing fast qualifying time. So congrats to him and Walter and Pete for rounding out the rest of the podium. So overall, very exciting day. I'm hoping it was fun for you guys as well, and I'm glad with my P5.
Good stuff, mate. It was an incredible race.
Oh man, that's great. And also, I'm realizing to my great shame, I never gave a nice shout out to my Running on Empty fan club last week. So. To everybody running on empty, my family, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and it's great to have you.
Nice one, mate. Nice one.
Yeah, they were checking in force, man. It was great to see.
Oh, that's good to hear.
I'm glad we got to show them some great racing tonight with you guys up in the front of the pack. I feel bad for the people watching because I sound like a broken record to them, but you haven't heard this. But it was so tough to look away from the lead pack, which I like to do. I like to make it through the field, but you guys were putting on such a show that it was tough to do. So congratulations. To your point, just finishing up there, it keeps you where you need to be in the championship points. It's awesome to see that was the thought process of like, hey, I want to push it, but ultimately a good finish, even if it's a couple spots back from what I think I can do, is still better than getting wrecked out completely and having those those terrible races that are going to allow people like Pete and Edwin, who are amazingly fast drivers, to just
Oh yeah,
crawl their way back up in the point standings. So
yeah.
yeah,
I
there's
think
even though you've got a pretty sizable or had a pretty sizable lead, it's not safe.
Oh, absolutely. I think we get 2 drop weeks, and I think my 2 worst finishes, one was like a 16, the other one was an 8. So this came close to being a drop week, but I'm glad that I wasn't able, or I didn't have to resort to that. But just like you're saying, these guys are so quick. If I have 2 terrible races in a row, I don't know what that would do to the overall championship standings. I'm sure that would close it up quite a bit and maybe make it a little bit competitive. In fact, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that in mind, I got to cross the finish line to get my points.
Mm-hmm.
So it went almost exactly according to plan. Again, I'd rather have the win. I'd always rather have the win. But all things considered, I'm very, very happy with the P5.
Good stuff.
Well, I'm
man.
really looking forward to the last 2 races of the season. We've got Donington and then Bathurst up next for the championship race, and those are 2 that we have not visited in a while, I believe.
Yeah,
for some reason
we've done Donington at least one time in with Sunday Night Skippy,
Okay.
but Bathurst, I don't know how to pronounce it. We've not done yet.
Mount Panorama.
I'll just call it Mount Panorama.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be a lot of fun for us to watch. Even that one time that we've done it in Sunday Night Skippy, I feel like they do a good job with the schedule of repeating tracks for money purposes, so people aren't buying tracks over and over. But it'll be nice from a viewer standpoint, especially as we go into the championship. Like, it's really going to put things on the line where this is going to be you're really gonna have to put the work in to get used to the track and all that. Again, it's not as familiar as some of the ones we've been repeating. So anyway, kept you here long enough. Congratulations again, and good luck for the rest of the season as you try to wrap up the championship.
All right, thank you, Chris, and thank you, Ian. I'm looking forward to watching the broadcast. You guys are doing a great job. Even when I'm not on the screen, I still enjoy watching.
Good stuff, man.
Good luck with that, man. Yes.
All right, thanks, guys. Have a great night. I'll see you next week.
All right, that was Chris Herrera, and current championship points standing leader, and I do believe we'll retain that. Obviously, going into our second to last race next week at Donington, as we have mentioned at least 3 times already. I am super excited to go to those tracks. I think Donington was our season 2 track for our week 13 shenanigans. I think we did some multi-class racing there. I think maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Did we do Donington for the official season?
We've done Donington once before.
Have we?
It's
Okay.
Jason's favorite track. He loves it.
It is Jason's favorite track.
He doesn't like this variant of it.
Is this the one with the
long hairpin? Yeah.
That was the one I was practicing in the US Formula 2000, USF 2000 or whatever. Before I realized that's not the variant, the configuration we were running. So
exactly. Yeah.
But
you've got the chicane, but the chicane, instead of going right, left, is now going left, right.
Sure.
Right, and then you go down
to the fun.
Yep, and it's a fast chicane too. You can actually go through there pretty swiftly, and then you go all the way down. You've got that hairpin at the bottom. That is a right-handed hairpin, and that's a first gearer. And then you're going back up. You've got a little kink to the right, followed by then another wider hairpin to the left that gets you back onto the start-finish straight. And it's a bit weird in terms of the way the track lays. You've got to be very precise on that, or you get a lot of people running off there. So that it's going to be interesting.
Good for the broadcast, bad for the racers.
Well, yeah, and it's another draft track as well, right?
That's right. And again, I feel bad about it, but not really. I'm glad that we get some entertainment for our viewers and the folks out there. As you can tell, there's some conversations that have to happen through the week to kind of iron things out, and the stewards are obviously going to have their hands full with doling out those penalty points that we have chatted about in the past, and yeah, so that there's still a lot of work behind the scenes that has to go on before we even get there, but ultimately, I think that hopefully cooler heads will prevail and everybody realizes it's just a video game and we'll move on with our lives. But
we'll figure
yeah,
it out. We'll figure it out.
Super competitive. It's super competitive, and we do like that. And people put a lot of work, time that could be spent doing other things. And I think that's where that competitive spirit and then the time that people are putting in to kind of perfect this. And you can imagine how frustrating that is when you don't get to put that on display to what you feel is your full effect. So completely understandable, and I think at the end of the day, ultimately everybody kind of gets it, and that's why we're able to grid 45 plus people every week, and I'm looking forward to Jason's favorite track. That's all I got, man. I think I'm done.
No, I think that's good. I think it's an awesome race.
Awesome.
I really hope everybody watching it enjoyed it. You know, please get in touch with us and let us know how things are going.
I would like 80. If 80% of the people enjoyed it, I'd be okay. Like if there's 20% of the people that are like, "Wow, that was terrible," I'd still call that a win.
I agree with you. So that means that if like one person basically likes it, we're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man.
All right, buddy.
Great talking with you. Sorry that you had. I mean, I'm happy that you spent the rest of the second half of the race with me. Sorry that it was that way, but look, better luck at Donington to you.
You know, you can't be too worried about it, and I'm grateful that I've been able to actually get some time to do some racing. My problem is right now so busy, I haven't had hardly any time to do any practicing because, you know, the family actually want to see me, and I don't understand that, but you know, whatever.
Weird, I know.
It is weird.
So
it is
tough.
Weird. But I only have
They're
2
so
kids,
needy.
unlike some of us who might have 3 soon.
soon.
And that's gonna be
that's right.
a whole nother ball of wax because you know we got to start thinking about it. Because is Megan gonna allow you to continue to do this?
Well, I think so. I think though that I will be not only rocking but also feeding a infant while we're doing this, so this could get even more fun for everybody.
Well, that's fine, and I mean, I think that you know the immersion therapy that you'll be doing to said infant would stand her in good stead for either racing and beating you regularly, as my kids are trying to get themselves to do, or broadcasting with us.
Exactly. They got to plant the seeds early. That subconscious.
Exactly.
Yep. All right, Ian. Well, great chatting with you once again. I'm looking forward to next week, and I hope everybody out there stays safe. And yeah, that's all I got. Have a great night. Have a great week. We'll see you 9 p.m. Eastern Sunday night for the week 11 race at Donington.
Yep, and we'll start talking about what we're going to do for our week 13.
That's sneaking up on us.
Again.
Sneaking up on us.
Wasn't so good last time, but we'll do a better one this time.
Every time.
For sure.
All
right, man. Take care. Good night.
Have a good night. See ya.